Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Yari Show. I am your host, Yari. It is Thursday. I know it's a little early, and there's a good reason for that. Why? So basically, what happened was my girl had to work today. We only share one car. We just have one car. Her car has been out of commission for at least 2 years. So we were just using my car, and Wednesdays and Thursdays are always my day off. So today I just dropped her off at work. She had to go in at 12, and she gets off at 7, and the show's at 6. So I didn't want to cancel the show. I didn't want to move it to an earlier date. I don't like early shows. I prefer to just do it like in prime time. So I just decided to move it to an hour behind. I mean, we're not moving the time. The time zone for the we're not moving the time for the show. It's just today because of certain circumstances. I could have easily started at 6 and went there at 7 because usually she doesn't always get out at the exact time that she's supposed to because I'm not gonna say what my girl does. She works at a grocery store. I'll just say that much. Her job. She's kind of like in a leadership. Not management, but like a leadership type role. So if you're closing, if you're a mid, if you're opening, you're not always going to get out at your exact time because whether it's busy or if someone's on break, you have to stay up there until you get the green light to go. So but I don't want to take that chance. I don't want to take that chance of the show going over 7, p.m. and me getting a text from her saying, hey, where are you? I'm currently charging my phone because it was at 30, so I am not there and my phone's dying and I'm just waiting for her to get out of work while I'm dying. But, what an interesting week for pro wrestling. A lot of wrestling-related shit going on. I don't know what we should talk about. Talk about CM Punk thing. Talk about Jim Cornette. I was on Wrestling Court last night with Julian. Shout out to Julian. Shout out to Rob. Shout out to Shaheen from Nuclear Heat Graphics. That dude. I gotta take a moment to talk about Shaheen. He's the man. He designed me a new logo for the show. Pretty much anything you've seen from Wrestling Soup, DT, KC. I don't know if he did one for Julian. Shaheen's behind that. He's the man. He's no joke. He's the real deal. The guy AEW hired him not for the company, but AEW hired him to go to StarCast and do the brochures. He's currently doing something else, which I'll let him tell that. That's his story, not mine. But I didn't know Shaheen that well, and I think I can maybe said hi to him a couple of times, so that's about it. But I have him on my personal Facebook, and I have him on all other forms of social media. And we were talking for a bit because I compliment him on his work at Starcade, or it's not Starcade, Starcast. And I talked to him. I said, hey, do you think you can design something for me? Because I remember I asked him before about what his rates were, and we just kind of left it at that because at the time I wasn't financially able to pay for something. Now I got a better job and make more money. So I'm able to not just improve, as far as like in my life, pay bills, make a little extra money. I'm also able to improve things for the show. Like the theme that Yuck Nessie did, I had good enough money to, pay Yuck for that. Granted, he gave me a good deal for it. Shout out to Yuck. And same thing with the logo. I asked Shaheen straight up, you think you can design something, for me for the show, like a logo? Mainly, he just, asked me what I wanted on it. I just told him, name of the show, put like, what day the show comes on, time, A, B, C, and D. He's like, all right, just give me a week. Because, Shaheen's a busy man. He is a very busy man. I can't stress that enough. He's a very busy man. So a week passed, and I was just thinking, I don't think he forgot it, but it's just kind of like my natural reaction, like, oh, hopefully he still remembers it. And at the same time, I didn't want to bother him about it. I I knew he was a busy man, so I didn't want to bother him about it. But then he messaged me back saying, "Hey, what kind of colors you want in your logo? Can you also let me know what platforms your shows are on?" So I gave him that information. Finished it, I think, in like an hour, like maybe 30 minutes or an hour later, he shows me the screenshot of what he already finished, and I fucking fell in love. He admitted he added some almost like a comic book, graphic novel look to it. And he told me, I don't know if he tells everybody this, but he told me this. He said it was one of his favorite things he worked on, and I just that's high praise, as Nicolas Cage would say, or as Andy Samberg playing Nick Cage would say, that's high praise. I'm a dork, but I paid him. I PayPal'd him the money I owed him. I'm a man of my word. I like to keep my word, so I don't like to skate around shit. I like to keep my word. So I paid him. Uploaded it, and it's awesome. I'm definitely keeping them on hold if I need anything else in the future. I got a lot of ideas in the think tank, but just thought I'd take a moment to talk about Sheen. Shout out to Sheen Nuclear Graphics, or Wrestling Overdose too. He's a podcast called Wrestling Overdose. But going back to Wrestling Court, we were on last night, and the big topic on hand was Jim Cornette. The Cornette issue from on Tuesday on NWA Power. I didn't see it live. Actually, I haven't been watching NWA lately. I kind of fell off about 4 weeks ago, and I don't know why. I don't know if it was self-consciously. I just kind of lost interest because the show's not terrible, but it's just their roster is extremely thin. Like, they have a very thin roster, because I think Nick Aldis is okay, but I'm not going to go on my way to watch him. Tim Storm seems like a nice guy, but I don't care about him. I really don't. I never gave a shit about Mr. Kennedy or Mr. Anderson, whatever you want to call him. Other than that, it's just, I don't know, I liked it at first. It was a good idea. I think what really interested me about it, or caught my interest, was the fact that it had the old school appeal. It had the actual set design, had the fonts, had Into the Fire by, I'm forgetting the name because I was listening to Kevin Trez earlier. Was it Kevin Trez? Was it Kevin Trez or was it John? Oh, John Draper, Gold Walding. I'm forgetting the name of the band. I don't know. I fell off, and I was, singing its praises, and I feel bad because I want to give it another chance. I want to give it a chance. I would just need to catch up. It's only an hour. The shows are like an hour, sometimes even less than that. So I will definitely try and catch up. I have 3 days off next week. I got Black Friday off, so awesome, and I have Thanksgiving off. Wednesday and Thursday are always my off days, and I was able to get Black Friday off at work, so awesome. So that gives me time to catch up. So Jim Cornette on Tuesday, he was on commentary it was Trevor Murdoch versus Nick Aldis in the main. I'm assuming was the main event, because again I didn't watch the show. And Jim Cornette makes a comment, and I wish I had the video up, which was, and we just talked about this, where he said something along the lines of having fried chicken, stuck on Trevor Murdoch going through Ethiopia, which, that's not really that offensive. I can see how someone can get offended, but it's almost kind of a dad joke when you look at it. It's like with Jerry Lawler, where he makes his, his yuck yuck, knock knock jokes. It's just bad dad jokes. I like dad jokes, but I like good dad jokes. And Jerry Lawler's dad jokes aren't funny. Neither are Jim Cornette's. So he made that joke. I remember I just looked at the clip online that somebody posted. I just went, okay. Jim Cornette has said a lot more heinous shit. He said shit that's could be considered fucked up. That's not. Matter of fact, I'll take that back. Not considered fucked up is fucked up, and he's also said shit that's pretty heinous. If memory serves me correctly, and somebody can correct me. But hey, what's going on, Maurice? His former co-host Alice. What's going on, Sean? Jim Cornette's former co-host Alice. Isn't that one of the reasons why she left the show? Is because he made remarks about Muslims, about Muslim rights in America. And then, like, the very next day, or almost the very next week, he had to apologize, and she ended up leaving the show for that. I mean, she claims that she left the show because she doesn't give a shit about wrestling. But supposedly the idea is that she left the show not just because of wrestling, but because of Jim. Because she... Hold on, guys. I'm going to let my cat out because she needs to get out for some reason. Why do you need to go out when I'm recording? Don't bother me while I'm working. Alright, I'm back. But yeah, what Jim said yesterday, I don't think was that offensive. And as a matter of fact, Julian even pointed out, he said that before on a 95 episode, or 95 taping of, I believe, Raw, or like Shotgun Saturday Night. And he said that before. So, I mean, granted, the 90s were a different time than now. But here was my theory about the Cornette thing. People already hated Jim Cornette to begin with. Even before he was on NWA Power, because Jim Cornette doesn't hide how he feels about people. He's already made it very clear that he doesn't like the Young Bucks, that he doesn't like Kenny Omega, he doesn't like any of the Elite, he doesn't like anyone in AEW. The Marco Stunts and whatnot. The flippy guys. He calls Kenny Olivier. So he already had a bad... I mean, people already had a bad taste in their mouth of Jim Cornette before he got on NWA Power. And I compared it to the Enzo situation, which... What I mean by that is... WWE already didn't like Enzo. They hated him. And they were just looking for a reason to fire him. So... When the rape accusation came up, even though later on it was found out that, it was fake... They still fired him, even before they got the results out. First they suspended him, then they fired him, in a matter of 24 hours, pretty much. I kind of compare it to that, where NWA didn't let him go. I think it was the fans that were just looking for a reason to pressure NWA into letting him go. And yeah, Jim Cornette resigned, but NWA more than likely told him to resign. You know what I mean? Dave Lagana, I've talked with him here and there on social media. He seems like an alright guy. I'm pretty sure he got pressured into doing something about Jim Cornette. I'm pretty sure Billy Corgan got pressured into doing something with Jim Cornette, because he's going on tour. I know he's going on tour. So he doesn't need, haters showing up to his concerts and protesting Jim Cornette. It's like, how is that my fault? Like, how is that really their fault? So, Jim Cornette had to resign, and it's just, I don't get it. Like, Jim Cornette, I understand, could rub a lot of people the wrong way, but like I pointed out, what he said was very tame. Like, if he really wanted to say something shocking, he could have, but he didn't. That was a very PG comment, and like I mentioned before, he said that before. Almost 3 decades ago, 2.5 decades ago, and it was just people looking for a reason to get him fired. The fans, wanting to pressure the company into getting him fired. I know he's having a show on Friday, so he's going to talk about that. He can put a tweet up saying, hey, you want to hear something funny, blah blah blah. So he's more than likely going to talk about it. He's more than likely. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes into this big diatribe, blaming SJW culture, which is, this is Jim Cornette. What can you do? I don't think he'll badmouth the company. I don't think he'll badmouth Dave Lagana, management, Billy Corgan. I doubt it. So it sucks because I like Jim Cornette. I like him. For the most part, I like him. There's sometimes you can kind of get on your nerves, and he does too much. But for the most part, I like him. I respect him. He tends to rub a lot of people the wrong way, and I think he knows it. I think he goes out of his way to rub people the wrong way, especially if he doesn't like you. He'll make it very clear that he doesn't like you, why he doesn't like you, and why he wants to see your head on a fucking stick. That's always been Jim Cornette's, shtick. I.e. Vince Russo. It just sucks. I mean, where does the company go from here? Who do they get to replace him? They'll find anyone to replace him. There's a bunch of announcers out there they'll find to replace him. They'll even find wrestlers to replace him. So it won't be that hard to replace him. It won't be that hard to replace an announcing position, but it'll be hard to replace him. Because Jim, at the end of the day, is a great talker. He's a good storyteller. Nobody could match his charisma. I mean, yeah, there's people out there that can match his charisma, but as far as like being an announcer, it's going to be hard to find someone to match that type of attitude, that type of personality, that, a mile a minute talking. So it just sucks. And at this point, I don't see Jim ever really working with another wrestling company again. This really looks like his last kind of go with any wrestling company. Because I didn't see it, but supposedly on Backstage, I guess we can kind of segue into that, but like on Backstage, somebody had brought up the notion of Jim Cornette working for Backstage, and Renee Young and Paige went, nah, we're good. But, Backstage, CM Punk, who made his return to a WWE affiliated program last week, reported for duty this week, where he sat down with Renee Young and talked about, returning to the company. Wish I would have taken notes for this. Basically, the only people that knew that CM Punk was going to come back, the only person in the WWE or even on that show that knew he was going to come back was Renee Young. And, that kind of shows it, because whenever she was announcing him coming back, whenever she made the countdown, it looked like she just wanted to introduce him off the bat instead of having to waste time counting down. But no, she, introduced him, which makes sense, because I know Renee Young and CM Punk are pretty good friends, and it kind of showed it. It seems like Renee Young is just she seems like the type of person that is just friends with everybody. And I don't mean to call her, I'm not saying she's a hoe or anything, but she seems like somebody that everybody likes. Like, she's naturally nice and very friendly and very easy to be around. So, anytime there's, she was in Paul Heyman's shoot, she seems like she's in a lot of people's interviews talking about how great of a person they are. But, CM Punk came back. He admitted he got butterflies in his stomach returning. He, when they asked him about, wrestling related questions, he said, at this point, I'm not really ready, I'm just paraphrasing, that he's not ready, to come back to, the ring. He's 41 years old. He did kind of jokingly say never, because it doesn't matter what I say, there's always going to be somebody online that's going to try and, break down something I said into, oh, is he really coming back? So what you're saying is there's a chance? So he just kind of left it at that. He said, in order for him to really... he pointed out that he's a Fox employee, not a WWE employee. He made that clear. Fox offered him the job, and he admitted he didn't shy away from it when he first heard about it, because the way he was presented with it was, I'm working for Fox on WWE. I get paid to criticize wrestling. I can say whatever I want, and I'm not going to get in trouble. WWE's not going to yell at me because this is the Fox show. So, that he pointed that out. He said, at this point, he still doesn't talk to Vince or Triple H. In order for that relationship to work, they're not just going to have to build bridges, or they're going to have to build a wall. That's how hard it's going to be to fix that relationship. And they asked him about how he sees the business now. He says it's very overly produced. it's kind of the same way it was when he left it. You see a lot of guys who are fan favorites that aren't getting what they deserve, which, again, very true. When he talked about things he does like, he says he likes, the women's division. He likes what he sees from that. He loves NXT. I don't think he had to say it. I think he thinks that he almost has some kind of influence on NXT because he sees those guys as how he was when he came up. They're fighting to get noticed. They're fighting, to get over. You know what I mean? And what else did he talk about? Yeah, but basically at this moment, he made it very clear that he's not here to wrestle. He's not working with the WWE, which I had Ruben Prime on the show. I believe it was last week. Yeah, last week. Shout out to Ruben Prime. We point out the idea of Royal Rumble's coming up. He can be a surprise entrant. Would he face either Fiend or Seth Rollins? Which the safer match sounds like it would be more of a triple threat match, since Punk hasn't wrestled in almost 6 years. So yeah, let's talk about Seth Rollins. He last week when CM Punk came out, Seth Rollins tagged CM Punk and said, fight me. And then CM Punk put on another post where he basically just said, no one's safe. I'll say what and do whatever the hell I want, A, B, C, and D. And I forgot what Seth Rollins said. I think he put I think he just said fight me again or something. And then, Punk pointed out, Seth needs to just get off Twitter. He's not doing himself any favors. He looks foolish, which is what he said. He looks very foolish when he tweets. And he's right, because I think Seth does need to take a break from social media, because it's like with him and Paige. They don't know how to internet. They need to stay the fuck off of social media. They fight with fans, which is something you should not do. Especially if you're someone in Seth's status. Seth is supposed to be the top guy. How many top guys do you remember would get on, internet fights? I mean, I don't even think Roman did that. I mean, as much as we hate Roman, as much as people hated Roman, once upon a time, I don't even think Roman really even got on the internet that much. I don't even think he would, waste his time getting on the internet that much. John Cena hardly gets on the internet. He just goes on to post these weird quotes that he probably heard in a movie or a song or something. But Seth needs to get off the internet. He's right. Seth just needs to stay off social media. As a matter of fact, WWE just needs to tell him straight up, stay the fuck off of social media. Stay off. You look like an idiot. Like CM Punk said, you look like a fool. He continues to make himself look more unlikable anytime he posts something on social media. I mean, because I made the joke yesterday, it was kind of it didn't really, I couldn't go over the way I wanted to, but if Becky ever leaves Seth is going to be that guy that you see on Facebook or Instagram that will post these random memes, and there are these very heartfelt, very depressing quotes about, I miss her so much, I hope she's happy, why did she leave me, she's a bitch. That would be Seth. He's going to be the guy that blames the girl in the relationship, even though he probably fucked up. But I don't remember a babyface being this unlikable. I really can't. I mean, as much as we hated John Cena, even though John Cena was constantly shoved in our faces, John Cena at least had a likable quality to him. Even when people were booing the shit out of him, he would just smile. He would just smirk and say, eh. There's that one WrestleMania where he poses with a guy wearing a shirt that says, we hate Cena. And it didn't come off cringe because that's Cena's, MO. Because Cena knows how to handle the media. You know why? Because Cena knows how to internet. And at the same time, he stays the fuck off the internet. Seth, it just sounds very cringe. It seems like it bothers him. All I know is that if CM Punk and Seth are ever in the same ring together, CM Punk will own him. That crowd has already turned on Seth. They will turn on him again. They will turn on him worse. They will heckle him until he cries and until he's dead. Because that's how much they love CM Punk. And then speaking of Seth, did any of you see NXT when the whole crowd started chanting, Seth's not cool? I was already sitting down. I fell off my couch. It was that funny. Because you would think that the smart, crowd of NXT would hail, Seth as a hero, coming back. He was the first ever NXT champion. He's one of us. And it's like, no, they booed the shit out of him. They hated him. They didn't want to deal with him. And I just thought that was hilarious. We'll talk about NXT in a bit. But, what else is Seth? Well, not Seth, CM Punk. CM Punk, there's a funny moment where he's criticizing the Baron Corbin promo from SmackDown, and he calls it garbage. And he leans over to Paige and says, it was garbage, right, Paige? And she has this look on her face like, I will literally get fucking fired if I agree with you. So I thought that's going to be funny. That just seems like something Punk is going to do. He's just because he's the only one that can get paid to do it and not get fired. He's just going to criticize the company, and then he's going to try and egg up other company employees to agree with him. That's just going to be funny. There was another bit where, leading into the Seth, thing, Renee talks about the Shield, and she says, what do you think about the Shield guys? And Punk, smirks the Shield guys. Which one's your favorite? And then, Renee just turns to the camera and goes, I like them all equally. So she's obviously not going to bring up Moxley. She just brought up Roman and Seth by name. And then there was a promo, I guess a promo thing, which they like to do, like to bring in celebrities to, do promos. They brought in David Arquette, which he was just god-awful. He does a promo with Booker T. And, that just, it was bad. It was not very good. Gabriel, Fluffy's promo from last week I thought was pretty good. Fluffy's just naturally... I'm not saying he should be a wrestler. I'm just saying he was good. He was naturally good. He didn't stumble over his words. And then CM Punk, cut a promo on Tom Arnold of all people, because Tom Arnold, talked about the show and he said he liked it, but he doesn't like CM Punk. And CM Punk cut a promo on him, and at the end, I don't know if he slipped up or did it on purpose, where he said, he called Tom Arnold Seth, and he said, I mean Tom Arnold, and I just thought that was kind of funny. So. CM Punk and Seth, I think, will be a good wrestling match. I don't know, I think if CM Punk were to come back at the Rumble, that seems like the type of match that they want, because they assume Seth wrestling Punk would get Seth over, even though Seth's already over. Or, in company standards, he's over. To the fans, he's not over. But if you put Seth in a ring with CM Punk will own him. I don't know if he'll be in the ring, because Punk hasn't wrestled in 6 years. But as far as on the mic, as far as overall presence, fan presence, Punk will own him. Seth will die a slow, painful death if you let that happen. Personally, I'd love to see The Fiend versus Punk. I think that'd be a better story. Like Ruben pointed out, I can just already picture the promos, Fiend making, little, kind of breaking the fourth wall, talking about AJ, talking about his MMA career, calling him Phil, talking about his indie career. I just think that'd be pretty interesting. Or just not even Phil, he called him Philip. Hi, Philip! But, the backstage with CM Punk's debut, or not his debut, but on Tuesday, it got, I think it was 188,000 views, which is a bump from last week, because the week before Punk came back, I think it was at 40 or 50,000, and then when Punk made his debut on the show, it was over 100, and then this week it was 180,000. I mean, for other standards, it's maybe not that impressive, but for that show, it's impressive. And also, who here even has FS1? I have FS1, but FS1 isn't a very common channel to find. You know what I mean? And it's on at a very odd time. It's on 10, 11 p.m. I mean, they really should put it in prime time on Fox. As a matter of fact, why don't they just put it on after SmackDown? Put it on after SmackDown on Fox so people can actually watch it. Or even put it on the network. Why the hell not? But, anyway, speaking of ratings, getting to NXT. NXT wins Week 8. They finally win. They finally get a win in the ratings war. Last night on NXT. Let me just pull up the ratings just so I don't sound ignorant. Yeah, my phone bill. Okay. Alright. Julian Cannon posted this. NXT won the ratings war this week with 916,000 viewers. AEW with 893,000 viewers. Which, granted, people are going to say, oh, it's because NXT had WWE guys on it. They had main roster guys, they had SmackDown Raw guys. Showed it that, the SmackDown show from, 2-3 weeks ago had NXT guys on it. So, both shows benefit from having a little mix-up, of the two, if that makes sense. NXT is already a good show without the main roster. The main roster is already bad. It's already cacas, as Mish would say. But it could benefit from having, a couple cameo appearances. I'm not saying overshadow it with main roster guys. I'm saying I wouldn't mind every now and then, have Brock Lesnar show up to NXT, have The Fiend show up to NXT, have Becky Lynch show up to NXT, which she did last night. I'll review NXT in a bit. Have Charlotte show up to NXT. Or have John Cena, have Randy Orton, or somebody. Have one of the main roster guys show up every now and then. To NXT. It would be interesting to watch. It was kind of like when they had ECW, and they would have WWE guys show up. They'd have The Undertaker show up to ECW. They had Batista. Can you imagine that crowd if The Undertaker comes out to NXT? Holy shit. Undertaker versus somebody from the Undisputed Era versus Roderick Strong or Kyle O'Reilly. That'd be pretty interesting. But, NXT, their go-home shows, of all the main roster shows, because I haven't seen SmackDown yet, but I'm pretty sure their show will be cacas. Their show didn't disappoint. The show began with Becky Lynch coming out and giving a pretty good promo, talking about her time in NXT. And, she basically gave an open challenge because Triple H welcomed the main roster to NXT saying, if you're more than welcome to come down here and fight anyone. Open challenge. So then Rhea Ripley's music hits and says, since you're the man, do you got any balls to fight me? So those two broads just went out there and beat the fuck out of each other. They beat the shit out of each other. And I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Except the end. I guess I kind of saw it coming. But I would have liked them to finish out the match, but at the same time, Rhea, Becky's not going to lay down for Rhea, and they're not going to want Rhea to look weak, heading into War Games. So it made sense for that ending. It would have been more interesting if they just maybe had a double count out or something. Maybe that would have pissed the fans off a little more. But you had Shayna Baszler and her two goons come out and stop the match. Becky and Rhea were able to fight them off. So there goes that. What was the next match? It was the next match scheduled was Kona Reeves versus Matt Riddle, and then Ricochet comes out and attacks Kona, in his bright red Raw shirt. Matt Riddle comes out and they have a match. Again, good back and forth match. I liked what I saw from it. Riddle wins the match. And then some SmackDown guys come out. I think it was Nakamura and Cesaro. Cesaro wearing his he's a baseball cap guy, now for some reason. and he's wearing his bright blue SmackDown shirt that conveniently says Fox on the back of it. NXT's able to get the upper hand. Matt Riddle ends up taking out Nakamura, and there's the end of that match. What happened next? Should have written this down. The Revival versus the Undisputed Era, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. I thought that was a pretty good match. The crowd seemed like they were very into it. It kind of had a slow... It was kind of slow in the beginning. It was kind of a slow burn. But overall, the crowd really got hyped up for that match. Like, how is it that the Revival and NXT are better than the Revival on the main roster? Like, is it this thing, like, if you're in NXT, you kind of have to step your game up. You can't, be underwhelming and suck. When you're in NXT, you got to be on top of your game. And it seemed like all the main roster guys that were in NXT, that went down to NXT for the show, were really on top of their game. Yeah, so the Revival versus Bobby Fish, very good back and forth action. Bobby Fish took like a pretty nasty, hit to the nose. Undisputed Era wins. And I forgot what was the next match after that. Because I know what the main event was. I'm just trying to remember what the other matches were. If somebody can remember what that match was, please. Oh, I forgot to mention, in the Matt Riddle, scuffle with Nakamura, Finn came out. Setting up their match on Saturday, which that should be that'll be an interesting match, because we never seen those two wrestle, we never seen those two interact. I guess you're saving Gargano and Finn for, the Royal Rumble NXT thing, or, WrestleMania NXT thing. They don't just want to, like, automatically have them, fight. They want to build that up. Oh, yeah, there's another tag match. It was the Forgotten Sons, which I hate that gimmick, versus the War Raiders, the Viking Raiders. And a match I didn't think I would like. It was a decent match. You had two guys, you had two brawlers, two teams with brawlers. I'll put it that way. And they just wanted to beat the shit out of each other. With the Viking Raiders, of course, getting the win. And main event time, you had Adam Cole versus Donovan Dijakovic. Why don't you just call him Donovan Dijak? Why have to complicate shit? I like Donovan Dijak. My only issue is that I don't like guys that are that tall and try to sell for guys that are shorter than them. If you're gonna look like him, because he looks like a killer. He's 6'7". He's legit 6'7". He's freaking jacked. He can work. He's a good worker. And I love Adam Cole, but Donovan Dijak should not be selling for Adam Cole. Because Adam Cole is like throwing like kicks and punches at him, and Dijak is selling it like he's Keith Lee. I don't know. I guess that's just me. It seems like a lot of people aren't really bothered by it. It shows. I don't know. I see that, and it just. I'm not saying it throws me off, but a guy that big should not be selling for somebody that's that little. I don't know. That's just me. But yeah, ladder match to see whose team would get advantage. Who would get the advantage in War Games this Saturday? Again, nice match. Not as good as the Miami and Io Shirai match from last week. But yeah, good match. Kind of what you expect. Donovan Dijak ended up taking a nasty fall through a ladder, which pales in comparison from Miami's fall. Like, holy shit, we talked about that. Miami took a nasty fall on that ladder. Matter of fact, Miami was just getting her ass beat in that match. She took a lot of damage. Like, she busted her nose, and then she ends up taking a really long and just really nasty fall through one of the ladders. And I remember thinking, like, wait, what is she going to fall on? She's not going to fall on the floor, is she? She falls on a ladder, and it was a nasty fall. Like, oof. That girl's tough. That girl's tougher than me. She's tougher than most guys I know. She has been through a lot, if anyone knows her story. I really like Maya. I genuinely like Maya as a performer and also as a person. So, Adam Cole wins, and then it sets up the big brawl. You have NXT, WWE guys come out. There's a nice spot where Drew McIntyre does a Claymore kick to Dijak. Keith Lee comes out and does his move on him, a sit-down powerbomb. And then one of the Viking Raider guys comes out, they have a stare down, and Keith Lee looks at him and goes, "You thinking what I'm thinking?" And they both fucking, two big motherfuckers, two 300-pound plus motherfuckers, just dive outside the ring like they're cruiserweights onto these group of guys, which I feel pity for anyone who had to take a landing from them. Like, oh my god. That was dope. That was pretty crazy to watch. That was wild. And then Adam Cole's the only one left in the ring. All of a sudden you see Seth Rollins come out and, go after Adam Cole. And that's when the crowd chants, "Seth's not cool." And then it ends with who the fuck was it? Tommaso Ciampa coming out to the ring, and he ends up fighting with Seth. Which, what I didn't like is that they were allowed 9 extra minutes. Why couldn't they just give him like maybe 2 more extra minutes so they can finish out that fight? Like have Tommaso and Seth fight, and have Seth definitely not Seth, but if you want to really have NXT kind of go over in people's heads, have Tommaso kind of win that fight, and then the show closes with Tommaso being the only one left in the ring. Like, I don't know, that kind of bothers me when they have to are forced to go off the air. Again, and AEW I didn't watch. I'll try to watch it when I have time, or when I feel like it. So, what time is it? We're already at 41 minutes. I want to try and get out of here. I want to try and end this show at an hour. Keep it at an hour. Alright, so let's do pay-per-view predictions. Let me just pull up the match card. So Survivor Series is going to be this Sunday. It's going to be at the Rosemont Center in Illinois. Or the Allstate Arena in Rosemont, Illinois, I'm sorry. Let's look at the matches. So far, 8 matches on the card. Adam Cole will defend the NXT title at a Survivor Series, which marks the first time an NXT championship has been defended on a main roster WWE pay-per-view. He will face the winner of a War Games triple threat between, I keep calling him Punishment Martinez, Elias Priest, Pete Dunne, and Killian Dane. So I think Pete Dunne will be the better matchup for Adam Cole. I like Damian Priest, but he has a lot of work. He needs a lot of work. Killian Dane, I like him, but he needs work. But yeah, Pete Dunne seems like the better matchup for Adam Cole. Adam Cole is going to win. I mean, there's really no chance he's going to lose that. I think Adam Cole is going to hold on to that title until WrestleMania is going to be in Tampa, so take over Tampa. The Fiend, Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan for the WWE Universal Championship. There's no chance in hell Bray's losing that title. I mean, this will obviously be a great match. There's no doubt about it. You have 2 guys that are over as fuck. Good, great in the ring. So this will be a really good match, but Daniel's not going to lose. And also, this match was just thrown together at the last second. So I don't see them taking the title off of Bray this soon. I have a feeling Bray's going to... Again, another guy, one of those guys. I think he's going to hold on to that title for a while. He might hold on to the title till Mania. Or maybe even after Mania. Who knows? So yeah, the Fiend's winning it. AJ Styles versus... Triple Threat, Brent Supremacy Triple Threat match. AJ Styles, the United States Champion, versus Shinsuke Nakamura, the Intercontinental Champion, versus Roderick Strong, the North American Champion. I think AJ will win it. It seems like they want to give AJ another push, which, good, because AJ's one of the better workers in the company. Him and Bryan are probably the two best workers in the company, bar none. And then I guess you can add Adam Cole into there. AJ's going to win it. I mean, I think if you had to pick someone who maybe needs the win a lot more than AJ, I would say Nakamura, because we haven't really seen too much from him lately. I mean, it just seems like he's been the champion, and that's about it. AJ, they've been putting him in these bigger, high-profile matches. Whereas, same thing with Roderick Strong. He's on high-profile matches in NXT. He's with the Undisputed Era. He's showing up on Raw. Nakamura, what has he really done since being Intercontinental Champion? Like, he won it, and then he just kind of went away. Like, I don't get it. So I think Nakamura maybe needs to win a little bit more, but I think AJ will win. And it looks like I wouldn't be surprised if Roderick ate that pin. Which I don't think he should, because you want to put over NXT as being on par with the main roster. But if anyone's going to eat that pin, I would say maybe Nakamura should eat that pin. So AJ's going to win this match. There's no doubt about that. 5-on-5 triple threat Survivor Series elimination match. Team Raw: Seth Rollins, Drew McIntyre, Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, Ricochet versus Team SmackDown: Roman Reigns, Mustafa Ali, Braun Strowman, King Corbin, and Shorty G. Team NXT to be announced. It was supposed to be announced on last night, but I think it might even be announced on Saturday. So we're not even sure who's going to be on Team NXT. If I had to assume who's going to be on NXT, I would say Keith Lee, Matt Riddle, Tommaso Ciampa, maybe Adam Cole. I don't know if they want to give him double duty. I don't know if he'll... I mean, I'm pretty sure he won't care. Donovan, Dijak. I mean, that seems like the odds-on choice. Those seems like maybe the odds-on choices to be representing NXT. I'm picking NXT to win. What I think will happen is this segment on Monday with Kevin Owens and Triple H, where Triple H tells Kevin Owens, nobody gives a damn about you on the main roster. You were better in NXT. You need to come back home. Kevin Owens being in NXT, I think, could really work. He could really benefit from being on the show, and the show could really benefit from him being there. I mean, there's a lot of guys, you can name on both hands who could benefit from really being in NXT. What I think is going to happen is it's going to come down to Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins versus who's ever on NXT. I would say Matt Riddle or even Adam Cole. And it's going to look like Team Raw is going to, put the final nail in the coffin. Kevin Owens is going to turn Seth around and stun him. And he's going to take off his shirt and reveal that he's wearing an NXT shirt. This whole time. And Adam Cole is going to pin Seth Rollins 1, 2, 3. NXT gets the win. Now Kevin Owens is in NXT. It makes sense. I mean, it kind of writes itself. So, in storyline fashion, it would not make sense for Kevin Owens to want to be on the main roster. It makes sense for Seth for wanting to be on the main roster. I mean, I know it's fake. I know it's not supposed to... It's a fake show. But in storyline fashion, it would not make sense for Kevin Owens to want to stay on the main roster. My dog's snoring. But I think that's what's going to happen, personally. And also, 5-on-5-on-5. Why not just make it Team WWE versus Team NXT? I don't get it. Like, have SmackDown and Raw guys on one team, and then have NXT on one team. Like, this seems like it's going to be a giant clusterfuck. Like, they just had to complicate the shit out of it. Alright, Team 5-on-5-on-5, women's triple threat elimination match. You got Team Raw, you got Charlotte, Flair, you got Natalya, Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Sarah Logan for some reason. And then Team SmackDown, you got Sasha Banks, Carmella, Dana Brooke, and Lacey Evans, and Nikki Cross. And then Team NXT to be announced. If I had to guess, I'm not going to say this is going to happen. Rhea Ripley, that's one. I don't know if they'll want to make Shayna Baszler work double duty. If not Shayna Baszler, Io Shirai. Tegan Knox, Candice LeRae, and Bianca Belair, I'm assuming. I mean, those would be my choices. Rhea Ripley is a definite. I would say NXT. NXT just seems like they would go over. I have a feeling NXT is going to win. Is going to go over big in Survivor Series, only because WWE so desperately wants to beat AEW in the ratings. I mean, they already did yesterday. Granted, they had WWE guys on, they had main roster guys on there, but they want NXT to go over so big at Survivor Series. They want people to think, is NXT really that good? I need to watch the show. That's their thought process. So I'm picking NXT to win. The SmackDown women's roster looks like garbage. I mean, outside of Sasha, which I think she's garbage too. Carmella, no. Dana Brooke, why? Lacey Evans, I mean, I don't hate her. She's actually not that bad. And I love Nikki Cross. You know, I especially loved her in those jeans, you know, yesterday. Oof. And then, you know, Charlotte on Team Raw, Natalya, you know, good. Asuka, Kairi Sane, good. Why is Sarah Logan on the team? Why not Liv Morgan? There's a rumor. There's actually a rumor I read where Liv Morgan and Charlotte have heat. That the reason why Liv Morgan is not on TV was because she got into an altercation with Charlotte. That's the rumor I heard. That she called her out because she said the reason why she only gets over is because of her dad. And that she tried to get in her face and she said square up, and Charlotte just kind of laughed it off and walked away. And that's the reason why she hasn't been on TV. So it hasn't been confirmed, but I only heard it from one source. So I'm not saying it as news. I'm just saying there's a rumor. I'm always going to begin shit with there is a rumor if I don't think it's correct. So, but yeah, I got NXT winning this next match. The Viking Raiders, triple threat tag team match. The Viking Raiders, who are the Raw Tag Champions. You got the New Day, who are the SmackDown Tag Champions in the Undisputed Era, who are the NXT Tag Champions, Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish. Again, I got NXT winning, and I think New Day is going to take that pin. Sadly enough, I think Kofi's going to take the pin. Which, I have never seen a storyline or a wrestler lose the WWE World Heavyweight Championship and not really care or even acknowledge it. Like, I have never seen that happen in my life before. Like, I don't know if they're telling them to forget it. It seems like they're telling him to forget it. Like his angle going into Mania and win the title was one of the bigger angles of that was going on in the company, and him winning, the title from Daniel Bryan was a match of the year candidate. It was the best match of Mania. It was the best moment of Mania. I mean, yeah, we all like to say his title run was very underwhelming. I mean, it was. Let's just be real. And then he just jobs out to Lesnar in 3 seconds. And it just seems like it doesn't faze him at all. But, I had to get that out. Because, yeah, I think if the Undisputed are doing this match, Kofi's going to eat that pin. They're not going to let any of the Viking Raider guys eat that pin. It's going to be Kofi. Maybe Big E. But overall, I think it's going to be Kofi. Because that's just how shit is. Alright, triple threat women's match. Becky Lynch, who is the Raw Women's Champion. You got Bayley, who is the SmackDown Women's Champion. And you got Shayna Baszler, who is the NXT Women's Champion. I said yesterday on Wrestling Court, I think Bayley needs this win more. Because Bayley is the odd person out. Becky would not hurt her to lose because Becky's a top girl. She's the top girl. Shayna, she would kind of need this win because it's the main roster audience, so she needs to establish herself with the main roster audience. Bayley would probably need this win more because ever since she turned heel and got her, her can I speak to your manager haircut, she hasn't really done anything. Except, wear really tight pants and have an enormously fat looking ass, which I love. So, I'm torn between Bayley and Shayna. Because I think Shayna would maybe need to win more. Because she needs to establish herself with the audience. Everyone knows Bayley. Like, everyone already knows who Bayley is. She's kind of already established herself. But I think she might need to win more. So, I don't know. It's between Bayley and Shayna. If you had to put a gun to my head, I would say Shayna because, you know, to the audience, to the casual audience, to the filthy casuals, she needs to win more. So I would say I'm going to pick Shayna. And then what looks like might be the main event, Brock Lesnar versus Rey Mysterio in a no-holds-barred match for the WWE Championship. I mean, is there anyone thinking that Rey's going to win? If you think Rey's going to win, what are you smoking? And can I have some? I think this will be a competitive match. You kind of need to let Rey look a little strong in this match. Like, what I think will happen is Brock is going to beat the shit out of Rey. Like, he's going to suplex him. He's going to punch him. He's going to try and fuck up his arms again. And then Rey's going to get more offense and hitting him with that weird paper towel roller thing that's supposed to be a lead pipe. He's going to get a lot of offense in. It's going to look like Rey's going to pull one out. Then Brock's going to kick out at 2, and then Brock's going to F5 him. I think Dominic will get involved, but Brock is still going to win. And then after the match, Dominic is going to beat the shit out of Rey. He's going to beat the shit out of Rey. It's going to set up a Mania match. Like, this is a match that needs to be at Mania. Have Dominic just beat the shit out of Rey. Not just, like, beat him up. Beat the shit out of him. Like, beat the shit out of him so bad to where Rey's going to need to be out for a while. And not just to heal physically, but emotionally. Because his own son attacked him. His own son that he raised. That technically Eddie Guerrero was the father of, if anyone remembers that storyline. But that, you know, Rey raised him. He loved him. He brought him up in this business. He trained him. And Dominic just turned his back on him. How dare you? That's a WrestleMania match. Like, here's how I'd book it. Beat the shit out of Rey. And then have Dominic, you know, go in the singles run as a star. Or not a star, but just go on a singles run. Have Dominic show up in the Rumble, and then the next entrant, like after him, is going to end up being Rey. And Dominic just runs away from his father, which would look kind of silly, because Dominic is bigger than Rey. But it makes sense because that's his father. He's afraid of his father. He wasn't afraid to take his father down when he was already hurt, but now that his father is back and he's 100%, it's just a dad thing in general. Like, no matter how tall or bigger you get than your parents, they're always going to scare you. So, and then that sets up a WrestleMania match. So there you go. But yeah, those are my Survivor Series predictions. Should we go over War Games? I mean, we're already about to be in an hour. I kind of wanted to keep it at an hour. I'll just go over War Games real quick. War Games, Rosemont, Illinois, Allstate Arena, same thing, matches. There's only 4 matches. Pete Dunne, Killian Dane, Damien Priest, I already said that. I think Pete Dunne should win. Matt Riddle versus Finn Balor. Finn Balor's going to win, but he's going to win in a heel way because Finn's the heel. This wouldn't hurt Matt at all, but I think Finn's going to win. War Games match, men's War Game match. You have the Undisputed Era, Adam Cole, Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong versus Tommaso Ciampa, Keith Lee, Diamond Dijakovic, and to be announced. To be announced, I don't know who that would be. I mean, the thought is it might be a Velveteen Dream, but supposedly he's going to be out for a while. He might even be out till January. So who would it be? I mean, would it be... Can't be Johnny Gargano because he's not cleared to wrestle yet. So who would it be? Would it be like a one night only person? Would it be somebody making their debut? I don't know. I don't know who it might be. And you know what? I like that I don't know, because I want to be surprised. Maurice... okay, Maurice. hey, that's you. I mean, it'd be interesting, and somebody from... I don't even think he's in AEW. Has he even ever made an appearance in AEW? No, right? Only to like the All-In shows. But I mean, that'd be interesting. But maybe not my cup of tea. But maybe like a Killer Cross, would be pretty interesting. Somebody only making a one-night appearance. I don't know. And again, I like that I don't know. I want to be surprised. I think the Undisputed Era will win this because, again, they want to keep them strong. They want to make them look strong. Heading into Survivor Series and also the Undisputed Era. So they kind of run NXT at this point. The Women's War Game match, the first ever Women's War Games match. You got Team Rhea Ripley with Candice LeRae, Tegan Nox, and Mia Yim versus Team Shayna Baszler, Io Shirai, Bianca Belair, and Kaylee Ray, who is the NXT UK Women's Champion. Saw her last night versus Dakota Kai. She wasn't bad. She was pretty good. I don't watch the UK show, so I can't really judge it that much. Or even at all. Oh. My heart says Shayna Baszler. But I want to say Rhea Ripley. Again, gun to my head, I would say Shayna Baszler. At this point, I don't know. It's tough. It's really tough. I don't know. I would say Rhea Ripley because she's already over with the crowd. She can work. She can talk. She looks like a killer. So I would say Rhea Ripley's team. So to not just get her team over, but her over, which would set up Rhea versus Shayna in the future, and possibly even have Rhea take that title. So that's NXT War Games. Those are my predictions. Shout out to Wrestling Soup. Shout out to DTKC. Shout out to Texas Podcast Massacre, Wrestling Court, the Ruben Prime TV podcast. Who else am I talking? Shout out to the Architect Podcast. Shout out to the Peter Position Podcast. And who else am I forgetting? Nuclear Heat not Nuclear Heat. Nuclear Heat Graphics, Shaheen, and also his other podcasts, Wrestling Overdose. Get in the Corner with Yuck Nasty and Dogger Baby. Pretty much shout out to anyone who loves the show. Shout out to anyone who downloads it, who plays it, listens to it every week, who just loves the show in general. Just shout out to everybody. My Twitter handle is the Yari Show. Instagram, same thing. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Spreaker, which is my home base, and also anywhere that podcasts are put out: Spotify, Google Play, iTunes, Stitcher, and etc. Next week, next Thursday is Thanksgiving. So, I don't know if I should just maybe record on Wednesday, or maybe even record earlier. I don't know, because I know we're not going anywhere for Thanksgiving. We're gonna be here. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll keep you guys posted. I might even just do a morning show. Fuck it. Again, it's not till next week, so I will definitely let you guys know. That is it for the show. We did an hour and 4 minutes. That sounds about right. Yeah, I'll see you guys next week. I will be here Thursday for Thanksgiving. I just don't know what time I'll record. Like I said, might even do a morning show. Might even record at 6, same time. But I'll see you guys next week. You guys have a good holiday. Have a great Thanksgiving. I mean, it's not till next week, but have a good weekend. Stay safe. Don't do drugs. Don't drink. make sure you don't talk to strangers. And don't do anything I wouldn't do. And definitely don't do anything I would do. But yeah, take care, guys, and peace.